Okay, guys, we have had quite the episode already. We have spoken to the amazing group at HoaH Paranormal. We have spoken to Gary and Christina, and we have told you all of the amazing and wonderful things about ParaPsyCon that is held every year at Ohio State Reformatory. Now, this last couple that we are going to interview is they're really the folks who put all of this together. They have a wonderful team of people that help them do that. And we are super excited to introduce you to and have you sit down with us as we chat with them about exactly what it takes to put on an event of this size. So yeah, everybody, this is our segment with Greg and Kathy Feketik. Let's give them a big, big round of applause from the HoaH family. Hi, guys.
Hi, how are you?
We're great. Thank you so much for joining us. We are super excited to have you. As I mentioned, we sat down with another vendor at your amazing ParaCon this year, HoaH Paranormal. We have spoken with two of your amazing team members and volunteers at the ParaPsyCon, Gary and Christina. And now we are going to bring it on home and pick your brains for a little while, because you guys are the ones behind all of this. You guys are the ones that get all of this together and make this in a really extraordinary event for vendors, celebrities, and attendees alike. So we want to welcome you to the show. And yeah, you ready to get into it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, great. So first question, how did you guys get involved in the paranormal field? How did how did this journey start for both of you?
Go ahead, you go first.
Well, when we met, we realized that we both had an interest in the paranormal for different reasons. We had different reasons for having that interest, but because we did have that interest, we decided to expand it a little bit further. And by expanding it, we started going on trips to haunted locations, hotels, things like that, together as a family, actually.
Love it.
And then after we did that for a while, we decided, there's a big learning curve out there in the paranormal and how to investigate and everything. And you want to learn the right way and, get rid of all the wrong ways of investigating.
Yeah.
So we decided we're going to join a team and broaden our horizons. So we did that. And then, Greg, how long was it before we actually started our own team?
We joined this other team in 2005. And then we started our team, Tri-C Ghost Hunters, in 2013, January 2013.
Okay.
But we've, gotten to the paranormal. I mean, growing up as a kid, I was always interested in, Bigfoot and aliens and the Loch Ness Monster. And it was cool. I liked it. I read everything I could. Didn't have my first paranormal experience until about 98, but I did my first investigation in 91.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I've been hooked ever since.
I love it. I love it. How about you? Did you have a personal paranormal experience, Kathy, that got you interested in it, or just
many personal experiences? Yes. I do light work, and I'm also intuitive. I'm an intuitive person.
That's right.
So growing up, I had quite a few experiences because of that.
Okay.
So I considered that, I was actually grew up in a haunted house because there were so many things that did happen. But they were always explained to me as being my imagination.
Of course.
However, in my mind, I knew it wasn't my imagination, but there was more to it.
Yeah.
So as I got older, that's why I had this interest to get started in all this. was because I wanted to find out, really what is going on out there.
Sure. So now your abilities, you've had them since you were a child?
Yes. And when I say abilities, it's more intuition,
Right.
knowing and things like that, but also having the experiences, hearing things, seeing things, smelling things, things like that. I don't consider my abilities that of psychic or a medium,
Okay.
more of an intuitive person.
Sure.
And then, of course, as I got older, I grew into the healing portion of it.
That's wonderful. I love that. Now, Greg, you have been throughout your career, and Kathy, I don't know if you have as well, but you have been on several different paranormal television shows. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now,
Yeah,
has it primarily been for OSR or other locations as well?
The first time we had a location in Lorain, Ohio, which is just west of Cleveland, called the St. Joseph Hospital. It was an old abandoned hospital, and I was on haunted hospitals. That was a segment on haunted hospitals. And then both of us at OSR were on Portals to Hell.
Oh, okay, that's right.
And then I was also a very, very small portion of Destination Fear.
Yeah.
Well, when they were there.
Yeah, that was an excellent episode. That was such a great episode. I'm a big fan of Destination Fear, now Project Fear. In fact, they are a source that we cite often when we're covering locations. I get a lot of really great ideas from Dakota and the group. Yeah. So, Laura, what's your question?
So, how did you come to work so closely with OSR?
Luck.
Yeah. The first time we ever investigated the Ohio State Reformatory is back in 2004.
Oh, okay.
So, and I remember driving down the driveway and seeing this massive building, and I was hooked. And I said, you know what? When I retire, I want to start volunteering. And prior to us volunteering, we would do it like twice a year, go and do private investigations there. And then I retired in 2011 and 2013, and we both became volunteers there.
That's wonderful. Now, are you guys, so I know that a lot of locations have their dedicated paranormal team that kind of like runs all of the investigations and is just sort of their main go-to. Is that what you guys do for OSR?
Our team is the residential team for OSR. Okay. However, the paranormal program manager actually manages the program, but is overseen by the executive director and also the board for Advanced Paranormal Reformatory.
And that's the paranormal. She's the paranormal pro.
Okay.
Now, with that being said, though, our team is the resident paranormal team. However, Greg is the lead paranormal investigator for OSR. So he is the go-to person when it involves the paranormal and the things that are happening on site, and he runs the private ghost hunts.
Oh,
so Greg he has a wealth of knowledge about not only the history but the paranormal at OSR. I do the operations. I'm the one that, when you asked how did we get involved and stuff like that, or, I think you asked about what shows you've been on. I'm the silent partner. I'm the one that kind of goes in the background. So I'm in the background running things.
Coordinating all of that.
Yeah, and he's the one that's up front. He's the voice.
I'm the voice.
The voice.
The voice.
And a great voice, too.
The voice. Yeah, so I became the lead paranormal investigator there in 2017.
Okay.
And I love it. I mean, this is my retirement job. Even though it takes me over an hour to get there and an hour to get home.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, and I love it. And, sometimes I'm there, 4 nights in a row doing private hunts, and not tired of it yet. This is my dream job.
Yeah, there are some locations that so I'm in Raleigh, and Trans-Allegheny is about 6 hours from me in Weston, West Virginia. And if I could, I would work there every weekend. If I could. I wouldn't, I mean, if I could just get a hotel and stay there, I absolutely would. There are just some locations that really speak to you and that you just, have this strong affinity for, whether you understand why or not. Trans-Allegheny is like that for me. I would do the same thing. I absolutely would, for sure. Now, how many people are on your team? How many people are on Tri-C?
Right now, we have about 42 members.
Wow.
And the reason we call ourselves Tri-C is because we actually cover the whole state of Ohio. We have teams in Cleveland, Columbus, and Cincinnati. Hence, Tri-C, the 3 C's.
Sure.
So, we cover the whole state.
Okay, so do you guys do private residence cases as well as like big locations like OSR?
We mostly do private investigations. That's why we actually formed our team.
Oh, okay.
We formed our team not to prove the existence of the paranormal or afterlife.
Sure.
We formed to help our clients try to figure out what's going on in their homes and to make them feel comfortable and at ease in their homes.
Right.
A lot of people believe their homes are haunted when it actually isn't.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Of course, we've run across those few where they're not haunted, and there are logical reasons. With our team, one of the things that we emphasize with all of our team members is you have to go into a place with a logical mind and rule out the logic before you can actually even think that there's something going on. So in going into these homes where people feel that it's haunted and you find that there's something else that is causing the issues, like the one time there was a gas leak. There was a gas leak in the basement, and it was actually a daycare home.
Whoa.
It was creating all these horrible feelings, the paranoia and everything.
Yeah.
Go into all that. But when we found that, it was a gas leak, we sat there with the client and waited for the gas company to come, and that took a while. But when they did come, it was pretty serious. So we feel as if we did our job at finding out what the problem was, helping them to resolve it, and probably save lives.
I was just going to say.
Absolutely.
Wow. Yeah, we our team had about a year ago had a private residence case where they it was a very similar thing, except that the creepy kind of skin crawly, hair standing up on your arms and the back of your neck experiences were primarily reserved to the master bathroom. And we walked downstairs, and the very first thing we saw was their entire fuse box, electrical box, wires going everywhere were smack dab under the bathroom, and we were like, it's a fear cage immediately.
Exactly.
So just like huge EMF. So we were able to and then same thing. They had somebody come out, and then it was an older home, and they were able to get it taken care of. But like you said, it's not always a paranormal situation.
Yeah. Most of the time it's not.
It's not, right.
Experiences,
Right.
most time it's not.
And then there are the rare occasions where you can't explain what's going on.
Right.
And that's when you raise the questions, okay, we can't figure out what it is. So paranormal.
We try to help them.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So how many investigations would you say that you've done at Ohio State Reformatory?
Oh. Well, shoot, when we first started there, we were doing investigations several times a year. But as volunteers, then we started more or less volunteering our time at the investigations. So,
But actual investigations, let's see, I'm thinking, we've been there hundreds and hundreds of times. Obviously.
I bet. Yeah,
as far as actual investigations, I would say probably at least 30 to 40.
Okay.
Just at OSR.
And I'm guessing that no two investigations are the same.
Oh no.
oh no.
Yeah. No.
There's absolutely nothing, and there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yes.
And you don't even, at OSR, you don't even have to be investigating for stuff to happen, which I've experienced sitting in my break room.
I saw that video you put on TikTok where you were like, well, this is new.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. And we found that out too, just being vendors in the middle of the day. Like nobody's really, we had stuff happen at our booth. I was like, okay, wow. All right.
Well, and you figure we've been there as volunteers since 2013.
Yeah.
That's a long time for having experience. So we do have a lot of experiences.
Yeah.
From the
And that's really saying something, especially since, like you said, no two like investigations are the same, and no two, that is a very overwhelming place with just the sheer energy of the spirits that reside there alone.
Right.
It is just even walk in is kind of heavy.
It is. Yes, it is.
Aside from the fact that it's a very opposing facade, right? Like it's a very there's nothing like turning into that driveway and seeing this building just grow closer and closer. There's just really something unique about that experience. Laura, I think the next question is yours. We're bouncing back and forth.
What is there an investigation that stands out the most to you in your recollection over the past decade or so that was just, something different?
Yeah.
Are you talking personal investigations or specifically with OSR?
Specifically with OSR.
Yeah.
Not any particular investigation. Which one are you talking about?
The training one where you were sitting on the
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've had so many different experiences. I mean, it's like, each time, something happens, either apparition or shadow figure. Now, like I said, I've been investigating since '91. I've never seen shadow figure or apparitions, and I've been all over. We've actually even been to Scotland investigating old castles over there.
Oh, that's awesome.
But in my whole career, I've seen a total of 4. 3 of them were at OSR, and that's just been since 2019.
Oh, wow.
And it's crazy, but, sometimes, like I said, you're just walking and stuff's happening. You're not even investigating. Like right now, we always tell people one of our most active areas in the reformatory is the break room, what we call the mini bullpen. And I'll be sitting in there maybe with another volunteer, and the group will be out, and we have crazy stuff going on in there. We'll see shadow figures walking into the bathroom. We'll hear screaming coming from there. Like I said, the one video I posted was the refrigerator door opening and slamming shut at the time.
That's crazy.
Right? And I mean, it's not like this is like a heavy refrigerator door. This isn't just like,
It's
commercial refrigerator. It's not like, it's like a mini fridge or anything like that.
Right. And it was in there for like 2 years, and, nothing. And there's a suction on the door, so it's a little hard opening.
Right.
And I'm sitting there, I'm by myself, I'm watching TV in the break room. Also, I hear this banging, and I look, and you can actually see the door opening and slamming shut just continuously. I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really remarkable place. So now, we were talking with Boss Paranormal about during the ParaPsyCon this year. This was our very first time doing a convention ever, and it was theirs as well. And it was our very first time History of a Haunting at Ohio State. We'd never been there before. And Erin Bush was with us, and she is the handler for Andrea Perrin. And we were all there, and we're kind of hanging out, and we were talking about how there is this insanely weird phenomenon that happens all over OSR, where you kind of feel like you're on a ship and it's sort of wobbling. You kind of get a little bit of vertigo in certain areas. And we were mentioning how Shane Pittman felt the same way in certain areas. Just like right outside the elevator there, like down in that like main area where you come in through the outside. There's a couple, what were other areas? Laura, do you remember?
I think it might have even happened in the cell block a little bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Have you guys experienced that? Because Gary and Christina, we did talk to them while we were at the ParaPsyCon, and Gary said that's a common claim. Have you guys ever experienced that?
I never have.
Okay.
And I'm there all the time, but that's just me. I've just never, had anything, a feeling like that. Have you?
Yeah, I have. I can say that I have, but you have to understand there's a difference between the way Greg and I do investigate. He's a retired police officer, so he kind of shuts himself down a little bit. So for him to be open enough to see the apparitions and the shadow figures and things like that is amazing.
Pretty significant.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's not as open as me, I'm an intuitive. So yes, I do get feelings of almost like I'm going to fall over or something, or side piece. And it doesn't happen all the time, but yes, I definitely have experienced those things.
Okay. Yeah, we were a bunch of us were chatting. Did you feel that? Yeah, I felt that too, but I felt it over here. Well, I felt it over there. I've never been to a location where I've experienced that, let alone a number of other people have experienced it in a number of different locations at the same place. So we found that probably the most intriguing, I think, thing about OSR. Solitary was probably a close runner-up. Wouldn't you say, Laura?
Yeah, that was a very interesting area. For sure.
Solitary.
Yeah. That's one of the areas I saw one of my apparitions.
Really?
So I was, when I have a private group there, I always give them a tour. And that's one of the areas we go in. And I've been by this cell hundreds and hundreds of times. And I'm walking by it. I got the group behind me, and I swear there was somebody standing in the cell right there. And I kind of jumped a little. I was like, but I didn't say anything. I was just like, whoa. But the woman behind me, she started crying because she saw it too.
Really?
And, I'm always skeptical about everything. Most of the time it was probably my eyes playing tricks on me. But, she was behind me and she saw it. So.
Oh.
And I've had a lot of experiences. A lot of people have had a lot of experiences in solitary.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. We captured, so we were down there, I think it was Sunday morning. We got there a little early before the convention opened. And we wanted to take... Broad daylight, yeah. 10 o'clock in the morning. We went there. We wanted to take podcast promo pictures around the reformatory. And we took pictures standing in the doorway of a cell down in solitary. And we took a few, multiples, and in the series of mine, you see my shadow on the wall. And I've got short hair. I'm trying to grow out a pixie cut. You can see where my hair ends. But then in my shadow is a black mist that's longer than, looks like it might be my hair, but it's longer than my hair. And you see it kind of form throughout the series of photographs. Oh, wow. And... yeah, when we saw that, we were like, oh my God. We could not believe it. And that's the cell, Laura. You didn't want to go in. You just had the utter creeps about. Was that one?
Yeah. And I don't get like that.
Yeah.
Ever. I don't have that. I'm more like you, Greg, that I'm not so sensitive or, so usually stuff like that, she'll have all these feelings. And I'm like, I don't get it. I don't know. Is it on video? I didn't see it. So I'm way more a skeptic, right? So that I'm not scared of going in any place or anything like that. I wasn't scared. It just, I had all of a sudden had this apprehension about going in there to stand in that particular cell for the picture. And I didn't feel that way anywhere else, just at that particular moment to go into that cell. And then, so they took a couple pictures of me, and then Carrie went in, and then that's where we saw the mist kind of come in her pictures. So it was pretty wild.
Yeah.
That is one of our more active areas. Well, I mean, the whole prison is active.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What's really interesting about OSR, too, is the fact that you may go there 1 year and you have all this activity in certain locations. 5 years later, you can go and the activity has moved to different locations. It's not always the same. So all of the years that we've been going there, the activity has kind of moved around to different locations, just like the break room that Greg's talking about, the kitchen. Nothing ever used to happen down there. Now there's things happening down there. Now the third floor administration, of course, has been active for quite a while here now, but it was usually active, on the east or the west side. Now it's moving into the hallways, and there's things that are happening there. That's actually in the hallway. There is where I actually saw an apparition back in February.
Really?
I was pushing a private ghost hunt tour, and I walked out of the administration area into the hallway, and I was looking out the window when I felt as if somebody was standing next to me. So I turned, and when I turned, I saw about a 6-foot-tall guy apparition, an actual apparition standing next to me. And of course, I dropped a couple of the not so pleasant words. Because you're what's the word? You're shocked.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
You really don't expect to see anybody standing there. So I dropped off on a couple of times. And this apparition actually turned and started to go down on all fours. So he got down on all fours into the hallway. And when he got to the hallway, he turned into a ball of light that was almost like staticky or electrical. And of course, I'm trying to think logical reasons why all of this is going on. And
right.
So, I started to follow it down the hallway. And as soon as I turned on my flashlight, it disappeared. Now, the interest is we have security cameras there.
Oh.
That security camera that should have gotten perfect view of it, which we were really excited, didn't record.
It didn't record at all?
No.
Oh.
But the other ones did.
The other ones, there's one where you can see her flashlight coming down the hallway where she said that she was following it. You could see her flashlight. And when she come running back into the area that we were in, where I was leading the tour, that camera worked. The only thing that didn't work, everything jived. It's just that camera where it happened did not work.
Is this the gray man that we were told about? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the creeper.
Yeah.
The creeper. People are seeing it getting down on all fours and scurrying down the hallways there. That is
love
the one
that
area. When I'm there by myself, closing up, that is the one area that creeps me out.
Ooh, yeah.
Is that area up on the third floor. Growling has been heard up there, and you got the creeper. And the hall's creepy during the daytime, and it's 3:00 in the morning. You're walking down that hall. It's like,
oh no, yeah, that would be.
It's a little bit creepy. It's creepy.
That would be
very unnerving. Sometimes I avoid that hall by myself.
Yeah, we when we did the vendor ghost walk that Friday night before. Gary was our guide in the group that we were in, and he was talking about the gray man and how it started out on all fours, and then it just sort of and it just walked out of this room, and I'm like, why do they have to do that? Like, of all the things, like if you can walk, if you can be bipedal, why would you be on? I just can't with that. So let's. I know, right? Let's talk about ParaPsyCon. This and me and Aaron and Laura and Andrea and HoaH Paranormal all agreed this is one of the most well-organized, well-run paranormal conventions we have ever been to. You guys do such a tremendous job. And we've been to other conventions as attendees, but of course, as paranormal investigators, we're kind of trained to just kind of observe and pay attention. But we have never seen a paranormal convention, or any convention for that matter, that is so attentive to their vendors. Laura and I were like, I feel like we're the celebrity table, because everybody kept coming by and like, do you need a coffee? Do you need a water? Can we get you anything? Can we help you with it? We were like, no, we're good. Just really well taken care of. So This is the 4th year. This last May is the 4th year that you guys have done that, correct?
Correct.
Okay. How did this whole idea come about?
It all started was back in 2016,
Okay.
where one of our team members at the time, her son was killed in an auto accident.
Oh, okay.
And this is when we were running events out of the old St. Joseph Hospital.
Oh.
So decided, it's like, hey, let's do a fundraiser. Let's do a ghost hunt there, a public ghost hunt, where all the money that we raise, will go back to help with funeral expenses and help pay for college that he was going to.
Okay.
So we did that, and it was a big success. And then I remember one day we were driving to the Rhodes Hotel to do a weekend investigation. And I came up with the idea. It's like, hey, that was a success. Why not let's do a psychic fair, paranormal fair. We got the hospital, and that's how it all started. Mm-hmm. And we did it 2 years at the hospital, 2017 and 2018. But then we had to shut the hospital down because it was just getting so hazardous inside there, with black mold and everything like this. So we moved it to the Ohio State Reformatory and just changed the name to ParaPsyCon.
Wow. Okay.
With doing that too, it's not just that we jumped in both feet into waters that we've never been in before. Both of us have event planning experience.
Oh, okay. Good. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't imagine. Yeah.
Greg did event planning at the police department, and then I was an executive assistant / event planner for 2 different companies. So I have 25 years of event planning experience as well. So we didn't just jump in cold feet like some people do. We actually have done this quite a bit before. And you're right about the vendors. It's really, really, really important that the vendors are happy, because in my opinion and in Greg's, we both talked about this from day one. The vendors are the ones that make the convention.
Yeah. If you don't have any vendors, you have no convention. I don't care how many celebrities you have, you need vendors.
Yeah.
And so we've always, that's been our philosophy. We always treat our vendors the way we do.
And with our team, we have a great team, by the way. We have a wonderful team of great people that believe the way we do. And they have the same philosophy. And it showed, obviously, because of the things that you're telling us. They care. They care a great deal about the vendors as well. And they want to make sure that you're taken care of. One of the things I want to point out, too, about the ParaPsyCon, I don't know if people know this out here, but we make absolutely no money whatsoever off of the convention at all. All of the money that is made after expenses are taken care of gets donated back into the Ohio State Reformatory, for the upkeep of the building and everything, restoration projects and things like that. So everybody that you see running around there, they're not getting paid for that. That's all volunteer. Greg and I do this. We don't get any money out of it. It all goes back into OSR.
That is wonderful.
We were like that with St. Joe's. We donated to 4 different organizations. We took care of a women's shelter. We took care of children's shelter, animals, of course, and then the owner of the hospital, his charitable organization was Salvation Army. So any money we made at St. Joseph's all went to those organizations.
Yeah, I think in 3 years we donated $30,000. That was just basically from private ghost hunts.
That's amazing.
All the money that we would get, we just donated. And when we used to do it, we do it at OSR now. We do the food drive.
Yeah.
We've always done that for our events.
That's amazing.
The food and also for the animals. And, we did collect as much as we would have liked to this year for the animals. However, when we went to drop it off and we made the comment, we're sorry we don't have that much to contribute this year. She says, I'm out of food right now. You have no idea how thankful I am that you guys brought this back. So every little bit counts.
Absolutely. It absolutely counts. Yes, that's true. That was one of the things that I really loved about us being a part of this year's convention and choosing you guys to be for our very first convention that we attended was because of the food drive, was because of the pet food and supply drive. Because they're both causes are very dear to mine and Laura's hearts and to this podcast. So we were super excited about that. Any way that you can give back to the community, and not just OSR, but to the local community is really important. It's phenomenal. You guys really put on one hell of a convention. Let me tell you. We had the best time. I don't think I have stopped talking about it.
And I have to say, your volunteers they're all just so kind and just amazing, kind of like what we talked about. Not just taking care of us, but I just saw the care that they took with, the attendees, everybody, just very kind, very nice, very thoughtful, always just on point, always kind of, trying to help people out the whole time. So they worked their butts off, and it really shows.
They do.
They do, and it's their convention too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They own it just as much as we do.
I mean, we do most of the planning and do everything, to get it up and running. Mm-hmm. But then the days of the convention, it's like we kind of like sit back and they execute it.
They execute the whole thing, And we do have meetings. We have like a committee that work on different things together, and then we have meetings with the team and explain to them, how we want or foreseeing this to be run and everything, and they just go. They're awesome. We're very, very thankful.
And I mean, we get some of our team members that will get there at 10 a.m. like Friday, and they will be there working until 8 p.m. Sunday night. And like Saturday's a long day.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll get there at 7 a.m. and we won't get out of there till 3 a.m. Sunday morning.
Yeah, because Saturday's the celebrity ghost hunt, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, we were talking to some of the volunteers Saturday afternoon, and they were like, "Oh, we're doing the celebrity ghost hunt." And we're like, "Oh, we have to hear all about it tomorrow. Tell us everything." And in the morning, because like I said, we got there early on Sunday, and then there they were coming back in, and I was like, "You guys have had to have gotten like 3 hours of sleep."
Troopers.
Totally.
It's a long weekend, but it's worth it.
Worth it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's time well spent and invested and donated, I would imagine, for you guys. Yeah.
So how long does it take you guys to plan the event?
Yeah.
Well, we already started planning it for next year.
Right.
We have our first meeting with our team tomorrow.
Oh, do you?
Oh, wow.
Actually, we start planning at the event.
Yeah.
Because as we're going through, it's like, what we got to do for next year. And we write down notes, and we're constantly alert on what is going on and what needs to be improved. Plus the fact, and I'm sure you received it, we send out the survey right afterwards.
Yes.
So that we know and understand if there's any improvements, what we need to do. So we're actually starting our planning during the event.
Already.
For us, the survey is very important.
Yeah.
I remember the first year we did it, we did a survey, and some of the things that people were saying is nobody came to my table, didn't have anything. So we came up with the idea of the scavenger hunt.
I thought that was brilliant.
We were going to get people to every table.
Yeah.
And then it's up to you to sell.
Because if you think about it, if you get them to the table to try and find this object,
Yeah.
they're looking at everything. And then in my mind and Greg's mind, it's like, if they're looking, they're going to go, "Oh, that's really cool. How much is that?"
Yeah.
So our job is to get people to the tables.
And then we created the raffles.
So-
The raffles where if you spend $10 at a table, you get a coupon.
Yeah.
That coupon gets entered for we
gave four private
hunts at
ghost
different
hunts.
locations. So I'd be like, I'm going to spend $100. I'm going to get as many raffle tickets as I can and put it in there and hope I win.
Dude, seriously, because what you guys were giving away, I was like, I want to win it all. I want all of it.
And here's something too. We're the resident paranormal team at the Reformatory, but we also have 3 other locations that we manage.
That's right. Talk to us about those 3.
Okay. Well, we have one down in Columbus, which is the old Delaware County Jail. Columbus team runs that one. They do events and private ghost hunts out of there.
Okay.
In fact, we're working on another county jail too, the Columbus team, to do the same thing. And then we have another location just outside of Canton in a little town called Brewster. It's the Wandle House Museum.
Okay. You're giving me location suggestions.
Wandle House Museum, which it's a historical society. And I remember one year, several years ago, they contacted our team to investigate, and we went there to investigate. And I remember the director was saying that, she wishes that they could figure out a way to make money to help with upkeep and maintenance. And I'm like, let me talk with you. I'm
glad you said something.
We got them up and running. But now they pretty much run that location, and we just assist as needed. And then we have an old school, the old Grafton School.
Oh, okay.
Which, same thing. We were there for an event, and I'm like, I got a way to make you more money. And there again, all the money goes back to those locations. Like we got all volunteers that help work them.
Yeah.
And something I want to add about all these different locations. I'm sure people are probably like, how can you run all those locations and still, work at OSR and volunteer at OSR? There's 3 different entities that we're talking about here. One is we have Black Shamrock Events, which is Greg and I.
Yeah.
And that's where we run our that's the company we use to run the events. Then we have Tri-C Ghost Hunters. Tri-C Ghost Hunters is an investigating team, but we're also the resident paranormal team at OSR. OSR, not every Tri-C member is an OSR volunteer. We have OSR volunteers.
Okay.
Some of our team members are OSR volunteers, if that makes sense.
Yes, for sure.
So like at our event ParaPsyCon, everybody that is running the ParaPsyCon itself are all of our team members, not OSR volunteers.
Yeah.
Okay. And then but we do have some team members that are OSR volunteers.
That are both, yeah.
Tri-C had at the time.
Okay.
And then there's the OSR volunteers that were working the front of the building, helping out with directions and standing in hallways and things.
Right.
Yeah.
So everybody that you saw with the bright green shirts, those are all Tri-C members.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
They're and all of them are not OSR volunteers. Yep. Some of them are, but the majority of them are not.
Okay.
So with all of these other locations, we have a lot of team members that are specific to those other locations. But they're not an OSR volunteer.
Gotcha. Okay. So you said that you guys have a total of 42 that are part of Tri-C. You needed that. You absolutely, because it's such a huge event that it was kind of the perfect amount of people, because like I said, it was maybe Laura, 15, 20 minutes. Someone was coming by, like, are you okay? Are you doing good? Do you need anything? Can I get you a coffee? I was like, no, just tell me where and I'll go get it's totally fine. I'm telling you what, man, you guys, everybody listening, if you want to, and we said this with Boss Paranormal, if you guys sell crystals, or if you do tarot readings, or if you make those creepy dolls, or you make, there's a couple of those vendors, and you want to a really amazing location to be a vendor at, ParaPsyCon is where you do it. Now, we had told everybody when we were talking with Boss Paranormal a little earlier today that you guys fill up on your vendors real quick. Super fast. Where are you guys at right now with your vendors that have already signed up for next year?
Actually, we've got about 24 tables left, and we haven't even announced it yet.
Wow.
So, I mean, I've got a big, long list. I've got about 70 vendors who are interested in being a vendor there.
Yeah.
But I only got 24 spots available. And I haven't sent them emails yet. I'll probably do that before the end of the month.
Okay.
Get them on board.
I'm telling you guys, it's a hot commodity.
Last year we were sold out, before the end of September.
Yeah, I remember. So Andrea went to last year's as well. And we were talking to her about it, and she was like, if you guys want it, she's like, the second they open that up, you guys need to jump on it because they will sell out of vendor spots. And I'm like, okay, you got it. I'm done. I'm doing it. And then it was like just a couple months later where you guys were like, we're full, we're on a wait list. And I was like, oh, geez, it's not even for like 9 more months. That's great.
We had over 40 vendors on our wait list.
Did you really?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's which comes in handy because it's inevitable. 3 days before the event, a vendor has to cancel.
Right.
So I'm like, getting on. Okay, I got sending emails out to vendors, and we filled them.
That's good.
We filled those empty table spots.
Yeah, that's really good. And in fact, so now you guys kind of grow year after year because I've been kind of going to your page and seeing like prior years because we were trying to get ideas of like how do we want to set up our booth and this kind of thing. And so every year you have more and more vendors. So tell us a little bit about the differences between your very first one at OSR and this last one. Like how has it grown?
Well, remember the first time we ever did it at OSR, we didn't even do it. We didn't even do it in the West Cell Block.
It was just the central guard room and the east diagonal. That was it. And then we did have celebrities that came in, and we had them down in the bullpen area.
Oh, really? Okay.
That was the very first year. And then we were like, everybody wants to come. We need to, make more room. So we expanded into just the east the north side West Cell Block. We only did that area, and
the last 2 years.
Where did we hold the speakers first year?
The speakers were on the West Cell Block.
On the other side.
Oh, okay.
Right. So we did, and that's with the Ohio State Reformatory, we're kind of like limited on where we can do speakers.
Right.
That's why we do it in the West Showers.
Which is kind of cool.
It is cool.
It's a cool spot. Yeah.
I mean, you know what? Nobody's ever complained about it. They think it's cool to do it down there.
Yeah.
But then the last 2 years, we had to move it, use the whole West Cell Block now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some people have asked us, are you going to expand into East Cell Block? No, and here's the reason why. It's you guys, for the vendors. We don't want too much competition between one and another. I mean, right now, you all are making money. You're all doing very well. If we make it too big, you're going to have too much competition. Your sales are going to go down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not going to be as it's fruitful for you.
Yeah, profitable.
Profitable, that's it.
And the East Cell Block just isn't, it's just not nice. There's pillars, and where the West Cell Block, it's like a lot cleaner, a lot nicer.
Yeah.
It's got that ambiance about it. Where the East Cell Block is it's just not conducive to for what we won't want to do.
And in addition, we need that space for the celebrity ghost hunt too.
Yeah.
Right.
That's we have to close off certain areas during the ghost hunt.
Yeah, because we lock up everything. I mean, when we do the celebrity ghost hunt, everything is under lock and key. Nobody can get in there. And we have a police officer on duty that manages it to make sure nobody does get in. Because everybody has a lot of product in there.
Very expensive stuff. Yeah.
And we do secure it. It's luckily the areas that it is in can be secured.
So if somebody had like broken items at their vendor booth, the odds are it was probably a spirit at OSR that maybe knocked it over onto the ground or something.
We'll have to investigate that.
Right? Are you ever going to get to a point, do you think, and like for ParaPsyCon 5, are you going to be adding more vendors, or are you guys going to, because didn't you have like, was it 90 this year?
It was like about 90 different vendor tables.
Yeah.
We are adding just a couple more.
Okay.
Like I said, we're limited to space. It's not like it's a big convention center or like a big ballroom at a hotel.
And we won't take it outside.
No, we won't take it outside. It's the weather. It's nice and inside. But no, I think this past year's probably as big as it's going to get as far as vendors. We may be adding some more celebrities for ParaPsyCon 5
for next year. Cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's always such a good time to walk by, and I was like, Dave Schrader, oh my God, Shane Pittman. And then we got a picture with Shane, and I was like, oh my God. But the Ghost Brothers were the ones that I was like, I can't. Aaron's like, come meet them. They're super nice. I know them. And I was like, no, God, no. And yeah, it was fangirl trying to really be like, no, I'm a vendor. I'm professional. And then be like, there's Joanne. Oh my God. Like it, I'll tell you what, it's a really fun time. I've really had the best experience there.
So
Lori,
what are you most proud of as far as the event goes?
I'm proud. It has to do with the vendors. Just hearing what you're saying and knowing that we made you all happy that's our goal. So hearing things like that you all were happy, and yeah, that's it. That's what I'm most proud of.
I like when vendors will sell out on all their products.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we have had that. We have had vendors say, I sold out everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never sold out of everything before in an event.
Really? Wow, that's so cool.
I mean, some vendors, obviously, they may break even, but for the vast majority, everybody's making money. And that's really what it's all about for me, is like, I want to see them make money. I want to see them happy. It's the vendors. That's what makes us happy.
And that's on the convention side of it. That's the thing that we're both most proud of as far as the convention side of it. And I know Greg will agree with me on this. What I'm really proud of is my team.
Yes.
Our team.
Yes.
The Tri-C Ghost Hunters.
Yeah.
You should be.
People that are there. And their heart is in it. Their soul is in it. Love is in it. They have good, positive energy. Everything about it. I couldn't be more proud of Tri-C Ghost Hunters.
Yeah. And it's all nice. And we hear this all the time, and you guys have said it. And sometimes I'm like, we're just doing what we do. People say that this was the most organized and best run event that they've ever been to, and we hear that from a lot of vendors. We even hear that from the celebrities.
Oh,
yes.
And I mean, that makes us feel good. But then I'm like, what are we doing different that other places are?
Yes, that is an excellent question. Yeah,
it's like we're just doing what should be done.
Yeah.
We've
been to I've been to a couple of other Paracons, and even a couple of different like pop culture conventions where it's just sort of like, okay, here's your table, have fun, and then just never really concerned about the vendors. It's really more about the speakers, the celebrities. The vendors make money, don't make money, we don't really care. You have a problem with your outlet, we don't care. So the fact that you are getting this kind of feedback by so many vendors and celebrities that vendors are selling out when they come to this event, that's going to make them want to come back year after year after year after year. They're going to refer their other friends that may want to come back, and just get you guys more and more and more exposure, and more, raise more food for the food pantry, bring in more supplies for the pets. So along that line, why is it important to shine a light, metaphorically speaking, on the paranormal at OSR? Why is it important, not just necessarily the history, but It is ParaPsyCon, and it is at one of the most haunted and iconic locations in the country. Why is it important to shine a light on the paranormal things that go on at Ohio State Reformatory?
I mean, people are fascinated with the paranormal. They love investigating. I'm fascinated by the paranormal, and it just goes hand in hand. I mean, you got the Ohio State Reformatory, famous for other things too, like movies, Shawshank Redemption, and it's just such an iconic location. And in our experiences too, it is one of the more active locations in the United States that we have been to.
Yeah.
It just goes hand in hand, and people love it. I mean, it's like this year, what do we have? Like 62 private hunts.
Oh, man.
And that's basically from March through the end of August.
Wow.
She keeps me busy.
Sounds like it.
It's like coming up, I've got 7 and 11 days.
Wow.
And, there was a time before, it's like, okay, I'm here for my 6th time out of the week, so.
Yeah.
And it's just such a fascinating place.
Yeah.
And
it is fascinating and everything too, but one of the things I want to expand on with the paranormal, you have your residual, you have your intelligent hauntings, and I know you both know and understand that.
Yeah.
OSR holds both of that, both. And a lot of it is residual. There are things that happen, time after time after time. They're like the thing clanging on the floor every so often. You have those residual hauntings, but then you also have the intelligent hauntings. And it's the intelligent hauntings that really make the paranormal so interesting. They're like the apparition I saw on the 3rd floor, like the apparition he saw in solitary confinement, the door opening and closing continuously 8 times. Those are all...
That was not residual.
No, those are all intelligent.
That was not residual, because I'm sure that refrigerator wasn't there.
No, that's what I'm saying. Those are the intelligent ones, the ones that answer your question.
Yeah.
Right.
The library.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
a
obviously
special place.
too, all the money from all those events too goes back to the Reformatory for its restoration. They're restoring and a lot of locations in there.
Yes, and it's so huge.
We first started.
Really?
Those tiny. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, it's amazing the work that has been done, and it's not cheap. It is not cheap to do the restoration. I think one of the windows down in the cell blocks, I think that was like $50,000.
$15,000.
15,000, but that was
for one window to
10 years ago, something like that.
Oh my God. Could you imagine?
More. So the restoration there has been amazing, and watching the progress, it's phenomenal how much they can bring it back to life.
Yeah.
And then stepping back to the paranormal a little bit too. There's a dark side to it. You have your dark history, of course, because it was prison.
Yeah.
But you also have another side of it where you have the people in the administration area. That was their home. That was the place where they lived. That was their life.
Right.
That was everything. So you kind of got a mixture. It's not all dark. It's kind of a mixture of all kinds of different types of energy.
Of energy that's there, yeah. I mean, and that's something that we really, obviously the name of the show is History of a Haunting. So the premise essentially is we do a location and Laura does the history of it and kind of explains. Obviously, we're focusing a little bit more on the more traumatic sides of the history of a location, because that's generally what leads to the haunting of it. Mm-hmm. And OSR, man, I mean, there's just from almost day one where it was one of our longer episodes, just because the history is so vast, it's so varied, and then the hauntings, good Lord, so many, and there's never, especially, and it's been featured on a ton of shows, and it's never the same It's never the same. That, you know, what Destination Fear experienced is not the same thing that, you know, when, you know, Portals to Hell, it's not, it's remarkable. And everybody that's interested in the paranormal and that wants to ghost hunt. We have a lot of people that listen to this show that are like, I just want to listen to it and hear the stories. I don't ever want to go and like see a ghost. So everybody that wants to, we highly encourage you guys to go and do an investigation, be it a public one or a private one. We're hoping to sometime next year get a group together and do a private of OSR next year. We did it last year at Trans-Allegheny. We had the whole place to ourselves. There was about 20 of us. We had the best time. And we're wanting to put together one for OSR for next year. And it's a whole...
For that.
Yeah, I just cannot wait. Although I am a little nervous about this gray man thing. Because I'm a little nervous about that. But it's a blend of people that are like wanting to learn. Like my niece Emma, she came with us to Trans-Allegheny because she wanted to learn how to do a paranormal investigation. What are they like? She found out there's a lot of boring, quiet, in the dark hours that you spend. I think she thought it was going to be more like a TV show. But it's not. And then, you know, folks that have been investigating for, you know, 30, 40, 50 years. So it's kind of a really wonderful group of folks that get together and do this. And we love to just kind of get those kind of groups together, especially for the ones that want to learn how to do it. Because they always bring a fresh perspective that maybe, you know, like I hadn't considered or that other people hadn't considered, or, you know, some of the tried and true things that people that have been investigating for 30, 40, 50 years, they're techniques that are, you know, foolproof. You don't necessarily need 9,000 pounds of equipment on you to, you know what I mean? So to that end, Laura, what is your we've got one more question for you guys along that vein of different investigating.
So what would be your biggest piece of advice for a new paranormal investigator?
Right. You don't need all this equipment. You don't need all that equipment. Right. You just need yourself. Now, when I do my tours, either when I'm leading a ghost walk or I'm there on a private hunt, all of my stories and experiences have nothing to do with equipment. It's all sight, sound, touch, smell. You don't need all the equipment. You got to have patience.
Yeah, for sure.
You gotta have. We get people that come there. You know, they've never investigated before. They come there, nothing happens, and they're like, "Oh, this place is not haunted." Yeah, it is. You gotta have patience.
And one of the things that piece of advice that I have for the newbie out there is not everything is paranormal.
Yes.
Not
I actually do a presentation on that.
More than anything, not everything is paranormal. Just because something happens doesn't mean there isn't a logical reason for it. Investigating is exactly that. You got to investigate what you just heard. You got to investigate that picture you just took. You got to investigate. Yeah. That's part of paranormal investigating.
Yeah, for sure. Laura, we brought Laura on the show because she's our resident skeptic. The show used to be hosted by me and my friend Archie. We brought Laura on as our resident skeptic. I'm a total full-on believer, and I'm like, you know what? Laura's perspective is going to be really cool. I like it. Then we started inviting her to go on investigations. And we did Old Hospital on College Hill. And it was just me and her and our two other friends. And she heard an oxygen. We were doing a Facebook Live, and she heard an oxygen tank, like an oxygen machine, the ventilators. And we were doing a Facebook Live, and she goes, "Do you hear that?" And I was like, too busy talking to like the audience on Facebook Live, and I was like, "Hang on, guys." And I was like, "What?" And she goes, "Listen." And then I heard it. This girl, it was in July. We went there in West Virginia. So muggy, so hot, and it had been storming that night. It was miserable. This girl is like going in and out of rooms, looking for the source. And I'm like, I'm just going to sit down. I know what it was. And we're going to let you go and invest, because they had no power to the building on the upper floors where we were. They had machines, hospital machines, but none of them were plugged in. And there was no, on this particular floor, there was no broken windows. And she's like, I'm going to find the source of this. And I was like, all right, let me know what you find. I'm just going to sit here and not die of a heat stroke. She was bound and determined.
I went back later to go. I was like, let me go back and see if I can reproduce the result, right? So, and I didn't hear it again, but I didn't hear anything else either. So, and it's like, what you're hearing, and again, like you said, that's not something that always gets caught on the equipment, and then obviously the different classes of the EVPs, but that was the first time I ever had any like experience like that.
That kind of gave her pause. Yeah.
Yeah. I was
That's
like,
cool.
oh, maybe there is something to this.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless of what your beliefs are, like I said, I'm skeptic. Everything for me, when it happens, has a logical explanation. You just have to find it.
Yeah.
But there's things that you cannot explain. I'm not saying it's proof of an afterlife. We don't know.
It's just something that has happened, like the shadow figure. His first thought was, oh, it was my eyes playing tricks. But then it's like, no, that wasn't. I saw the guy walk up the steps and down the hallway. So how do you explain that? What could it be? You try to figure it out. When you can't figure it out, you're like, don't know what it was.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And I mean, oh man, Ohio State Reformatory, guys, if you haven't been, you must go. Even for a history tour, even for the Shawshank Redemption tour. Yeah. That is such a neat tour. That is such a neat section of the building. We're huge fans of that movie, my family and I. And so I was telling my mom, we watched the movie after we came back from ParaPsyCon, and I was like, look, okay. And then, okay. And I was in that room. And now if you look, my mom was like, could I just watch the movie? Like, could you not? Could you not right now? I'm like, yeah, I guess. I mean, but I kind of like was standing in that very room. Mom, doesn't that matter? She's like, no, not really. Yeah. So it just, even if you guys do that tour, it's really, really amazing. And like I said, there's just something about turning down that driveway and seeing that building and watching it grow larger the closer you get to it. There's really something magnificent about it. So we want everybody to go and check it out. And we absolutely want everybody to go to ParaPsyCon 5 next year. Now, is it going to be the same weekend, guys?
It is.
It's always the third weekend in May.
Third weekend in May. All right. Now, when do you guys generally put tickets on sale for it?
Go ahead.
Well, right now we have the ParaPsyCon website up and running.
Okay.
So www.parapsycon.com. And if people want to just kind of go there and watch things. As far as the tickets themselves, when do you usually advertise that?
Now, obviously, we don't charge to get into ParaPsyCon. You have to pay your daily admission into the Ohio State Reformatory.
Okay.
So, and you can buy those at the door. It's never sold out. They never turn people away, or you can buy them in advance. But those probably won't go on sale until probably the beginning of December.
Okay.
And that's when our tickets for like the Celebrity Ghost Hunt, the VIP meet and greet, and other events that we're planning will go on too. So. Okay.
Yeah, we recommend it to everybody.
It's always nice to pre-purchase those tickets into OSI too, because we don't have a fast pass, so to speak. But if you have pre-purchased tickets, there's people standing out there that are like, did you purchase your tickets ahead of time? And checking people in to get them over the line. So you could do the walk-up, which is great, but they've got it. The OSAR staff has it mastered right now. They're doing a wonderful job at keeping the lines down. So
that's good. That's good. Yeah, it's a phenomenal. It's phenomenal, and I think Laura, you had the best time. God, just so much fun meeting new people, and geez, I really cannot stop raving about it. I really can't. So we're so grateful.
Yeah, we're like a family. We have vendors there that have been with us since the first one, since 2017.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we probably got at least 15 to 20 vendors that have been with us for everyone.
For
I
every
say
single
that
one.
it's like a family reunion for them. You know, everybody knows everybody, everybody's friends, everybody helps one another. You know,
Yeah.
it kind of like when you spread that, like with us and then our team spreading it, it kind of goes into the vendors and the vendors spread it then.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
It's wonderful. You guys, yeah, I can't say enough wonderful things about it. You guys do a really phenomenal job. So really, congratulations, you guys. It was a roaring success. We had the best time. And we're really, really, really grateful that you guys came on the show and we got to pick your brains a little bit about like what goes on, you know, like behind the scenes. And we do have a few more questions for you guys. I did let you know before we started recording that to close out every show, we do a segment called Get to Know Our Guests, where we ask each of you 10 lightning round questions.
Okay.
And so, Kathy, we're going to start with you first. And the rules. Here are the rules. It's real easy. We're going to give you. You need to answer as fast as you can. We're going to give you the choice of 2 answers. So we're going to say, what do you like most, this or that? You have to answer this or that. You can't make up a third option. It's one of the 2 that we give you. Answer as quickly as you can. You don't have to defend or explain your answer. And that's pretty much it, okay? It's not timed, but try to answer as quick as you can. So we're going to start with you, Kathy. Let's see here. Get it done first or wait until the last minute?
Get it done first.
Would you rather drive or fly?
Fly.
iPhone or Samsung?
iPhone.
Okay. Locked in alone for 72 hours, St. Augustine Lighthouse or the Myrtles Plantation?
Oh, tough. Myrtles.
Okay. Favorite piece of equipment, EMF detector or EVP recorder?
EVP recorder.
Okay. Coincidence or fate?
Fate.
Fate. Go forward in time or backward in time?
Forward.
Forward. Okay. What is the most uncomfortable location in OSR? East cell block or solitary confinement?
Solitary confinement.
Favorite part of hosting the ParaPsyCon, meeting new people or getting rave reviews?
Both.
He's
Meeting new people.
okay. Coolest cryptid, Mothman or the Loch Ness Monster?
Loch Ness Monster.
Okay. All right. That's it. See, that wasn't hard.
No, not at all.
Easy peasy.
Super easy. Super
You
easy.
passed.
We've actually cruised on Loch Ness.
When you said that, I was like, yay. I couldn't remember which one of you had that question. And I'm like, oh, we asked them about Nessie.
And the Myrtles and the Lighthouse, we've been to both.
Yeah.
And she's investigated both.
Have you really? I've been to the Myrtles. We haven't been to St. Augustine yet. Erin keeps wanting us to go down there to visit her, but it's just, a matter of Laura and I trying to find like the best time to go.
Time and money.
Well, and find the best pile of cash to pay for it. So, all right. Greg, are you ready?
Your turn.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, here we go. Have more time or have more money?
Have more time.
Okay. Work on a puzzle or play a game?
Play a game.
Okay. Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
Let's say extrovert.
Okay. Most uncomfortable location in OSR, the attic or the chair room?
Attic.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Better piece of investigative equipment, SLS camera or light up toys?
Well, one's out.
Yeah, one's out. I gotta go with light up toys.
Okay. Learn by watching or learn by doing?
Learn by doing.
Okay. Biggest fear in an investigation, being scratched or being shoved?
I've been shoved. That wasn't scary. I would say scratched.
Scratched. Okay. Locked in alone for 72 hours, the Stanley Hotel or the Lizzie Borden Bed and Breakfast?
Stanley.
And what are you most proud of? Putting on a successful ParaCon or the exposure it brings to OSR and the relative causes?
Oh, exposure to OSR.
Okay. And lastly, this is an open-ended question, and there's only one, and you're the one that gets it. What is the best paranormal podcast ever?
You guys.
Yay! It's a trick question. So far, nobody has said another podcast, and if somebody does, I'm going to be like, I don't know what to do. I can't believe it. So thank you guys so much for being here with us. We certainly appreciate you. Now, where can folks find you? Do you, as far as like on social media, do you guys have your team have a page? Black Shamrock have a page? Like, where can folks find you if they want to follow any like videos that you put out or anything like that?
Okay, we do, for Tri-C Ghost Hunters, we have a website. It's tcghohio.com.
Okay.
Excuse me, .org.
.org, okay.
And we also have a Facebook page. Just put in Tri-C Ghost Hunters. ParaPsyCon, we have a Facebook page. Just put in ParaPsyCon. Website is parapsycon.com. And that's it for us. Mm-hmm. We got our own personal sites too. I've written 2 books, so I have a site for that.
Okay, what's that site?
Oh, that is, well, what is that site? I don't, it's a Wix site. You just type in my name and it'll come up.
Okay.
It'll be like Wix, Greg Feketik, Wix.author or something.
Oh,
like,
okay. One of those big long ones.
Yeah, and you've got a couple sites
too. I have a couple of sites too. I make handmade soaps, homemade soaps. So it's Kathy's Bath Craze, but Craze is with a K. So it's www.kathysbathcraze.com. And then I also do holistic healing. I'm Reiki Master, Mountain Magic, and Shaman Practitioner.
Wow,
and
great.
Put in Serenity Reiki by Kathy, and Kathy's with a K, and I will come up.
Okay, great. I love it. Wonderful. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining us as we talk to these 3 amazing groups. We had the best time. We wanted to do a recap of ParaPsyCon. We've been promising you guys a show, just letting you know what it was like, what we did, the fun we had, who we met, and this was it. So thank you so much for tuning in. Now, as always, Laura, why don't you let the peeps know where they can follow us, should they choose to do so?
You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at HoaH Podcast.
And then we also have our 2 social media pages that you can follow us on is on the TikTok, and these are our official social media sites.
Individual ones, yep. At HoaH Carrie and at HoaH co-host Laura.
All right, wonderful. Well, again, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We're very, very grateful. We had a really wonderful time with you guys. And we'll see you next year.
Looking forward to it.
All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.